Meanwhile, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has pledged more security cooperation with his French counterpart in Paris. Mr. Kishida is currently on a tour of G7 nations as his country gets ready to host the summit for the group in May. Giles Gibson tells us what we can expect in the UK leg of this trip.
The Japanese Prime Minister is arriving in London just a month after his country signed a deal with the UK and Italy to develop a new fighter jet. The next generation fighter doesn't have a name yet, but the plan is for it to use artificial intelligence and to enter service around 2035. Designing and building these cutting-edge jets doesn't come cheap, though. The US Department of Defense estimates it spent well over $400 billion developing the F-35 fighter jet. So we can expect Fumio Kishida and UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to start digging into some of the detail about all of this, for example, how much each partner is going to pay and where different parts of the programme will be based. Of course, Kishida is also in the middle of a push to expand Japan's military capabilities more broadly in the face of potential threats from both China and North Korea. According to reports, the two prime ministers will also sign a deal to set up legal permissions for Japanese armed forces to visit the UK and vice versa. As well as defence, Rishi Sunak will be keen to talk about boosting trade ties between the two countries. The first major trade agreement that the UK signed after leaving the European Union was actually with Japan, but figures from the British government show that exports to Japan have actually fallen since that was signed back in October 2020. After the UK, Kishida will fly to Ottawa to meet Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. That's before the final stop of his tour in Washington, where he'll sit down with US President Joe Biden. Giles Gibson, CNA, London.